This is Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
Good morning, everyone. We're glad to have you with us on this Friday. I'm Jacqueline Matter.
I'm Ray Collins. 5th of May, Cinco de Mayo, and the dance party is underway. She walked in playing music off her phone like...
I was just trying to get the mood lightened up here.
It helped. It was great. Let's go to the forecast now. Good morning, John.
I feel like dancing.
You were dancing earlier. You both were.
Got it on. Happy Friday, you guys.
Happy Friday.
So, the forecast.
Oh, yeah. Please.
Well, you know what? We got the 2 rounds of rain, which I think was fairly accurate. I got to tell you, though, I was disappointed in the amount of rain that we actually got. I sure had hoped that we would get a greater coverage and certainly larger amounts. But hey, we got something, and we currently have a few showers left. But we're in the process, if you look at the satellite view, of the clearing that's going to take place throughout the day today. The heavier rain showers moving out of the way, just a few left over behind the heavier showers that came through a couple hours ago. And now we're on our way to a beautiful weekend, and we'll talk all about that coming up in a few.
Wow, sounds good. Thank you, John. A couple of accidents already this morning in Manatee County. First off, Orlando Avenue, an accident at US 41, which is also 14th Street. That is just south of Cortez. And also, look at that, 301 at I-75. Hopefully that'll clear up before the morning commute begins in earnest. Farther south now on the maps, we'll check Sarasota County. We'll slow down on Bee Ridge heading toward 41. And then the South County map will show us probably not too much. Yeah, a little slow down at 41 south of Venice. Otherwise, all smooth at 5:02 on your Friday morning.
This morning, parts of Arkansas and Missouri continue to be affected by deadly and devastating flooding. So
far, at least 9 people have died. Many people are having to leave their homes as water submerges their houses. Streets are flooded and bridges are washed out. It's become the new normal for some residents, they say.
This is something you don't normally see. I mean, for like years, you know, like 30, 40 years, something like that. And here we are again, you know, 18 months later.
Just scared, nervous. You know, it happened last year. We never expected really that to happen, and now we're seeing it again. You know, could it come next year and the years after that? You don't know.
And the worst is yet to come on the Mississippi River. It is expected to crest over the next couple of days at St. Louis and to the south.
That same storm system has also left parts of Georgia in shambles. At least 14 businesses were destroyed in one town, 5 people injured, and several power lines also knocked out. Many people who live there say they were caught off guard by the storm and stunned by the damage left behind.
Also overnight, the battle over health care moves to the Senate now.
President Trump and Republicans are celebrating the passage of the plan to repeal and replace Obamacare, despite some citizens disagreeing with that new plan. ABC's Kenneth Moten has more from Washington.
This morning, President Trump's fight over health care now in the hands of the Senate. The president on a decommissioned battleship, the USS Intrepid in New York with Australia's prime minister.
Right now, Obamacare is failing.
The president made this stunning statement.
I shouldn't say this to our great gentleman and my friend from Australia, because you have better health care than we do.
Trump praised Australia's government-funded universal health care hours after celebrating the razor-thin passage of a bill in the House that would gut Obamacare.
We still have a lot of work to do to get this signed into law.
Senate Republicans already preparing to write their own bill, a version that could scare off House GOP moderates or hardliners.
Shame! Shame!
Who could face even more protests back home. The Affordable Care Act requires all Americans to have health insurance or pay a penalty. The GOP plan does not. Obamacare expanded Medicaid. The Republican bill would roll back the expansion. Estimates show millions at risk of not having insurance under the Republican bill. Coverage of pre-existing conditions weakened. By one estimate, 27% of Americans have one. Even higher in these southern states, all voted for President Trump. Defeated Democrats in the House promised to fight on.
They put their name next to "you're paying more for less," and we'll make sure that the public is aware of that.
Senate Republicans are already sounding off on the House health care bill, saying the country should buckle up for an even longer process on their side. Kenneth Moten, ABC News, Washington.
As for our 2 congressmen representing the Suncoast, both Representative Tom Rooney and Representative Vern Buchanan voted in support of the American Health Care Act. We'll have more on how this new health care bill will impact your personal lives in our second half hour.
A man accused of killing his girlfriend's mother is scheduled to be in court this morning. Back in March, police say Roy Nichols killed Tricia Freeman of Manatee County. She disappeared in mid-March. Her remains were found a week later. The couple has since confessed to the murder. The victim's daughter, Kayla Coyler, is also charged with accessory to the murder, grand theft, and tampering with evidence. We'll have an update on this story later today at noon. A man accused of robbing a Sarasota bank is admitting about other crimes. Sarasota County Sheriff deputies say Avery Williams has admitted to robbing at least half a dozen other banks throughout Florida, Alabama, and Georgia. He allegedly robbed the Florida Central Credit Union on Cattleman Road yesterday afternoon. Bank employees say he gave tellers a note and demanded cash. Deputies found him a short time later nearby in a neighborhood. Williams is from the Tallahassee area and has served time for robbery and drug charges.
New details this morning on an elementary school in Venice. It's a story we first brought to you earlier this week. The couple behind the lockdown has been identified. Sarasota County Sheriff's deputies arrested Wesley Hudnall and Brandy Jo Neal. Both are from West Virginia. On Wednesday, the couple fled from deputies and trespassed on Taylor Ranch Elementary School. Deputies were first alerted to the suspects when they discovered the minivan they were driving was stolen. Then when they tried to pull them over, they took off. The van was later found on school property and the couple was arrested.
An update now. The fight against the opioid crisis hits a roadblock of sorts in Tallahassee.
A bill aimed at creating harsher penalties for synthetic drug traffickers was proposed, but the House rejected it. Under the Senate bill, judges would be allowed to break from mandatory minimum sentences for certain fentanyl cases. But House members say not having minimum mandatory sentences defeats the purpose of the bill. It now heads back to the Senate to be reconsidered.
Meantime, some say Georgia is seeing progress in its opioid battle. The governor signed a bill there into law that gives updated guidelines to health departments in the state. This ensures that narcotic treatment and prescription drug monitoring are providing proper patient care. Over the past 6 years, the amount of heroin-related deaths has gone up by 3,000 in Georgia, with Atlanta having the growth of heroin-related deaths. Georgia leads the South with 71 treatment centers for recovering addicts.
Back here on the Suncoast in our Behind the Badge series, we take you undercover with the Manatee County Sheriff's Special Investigations Unit. Special Investigations handles everything from organized crime to human trafficking, but for the last 2 years, drugs have been their main priority. We go for a ride with an undercover detective to explain some of the challenges facing investigators today, such as technology and the appearance of synthetic heroin, which has already contributed to 43 deaths this year. These detectives pose as regular citizens and try to catch dealers in the act.
You're the spies, if you will, of law enforcement. You're hiding in plain sight. People don't know what you, they're not supposed to know what you do. You know, you just kind of go about your day and do it a lot differently than the patrol guys.
Tonight on ABC 7 at 5, we'll also give you an exclusive look at a recent search warrant that investigators executed that led to the arrest of a suspected drug dealer.
Interesting story here. A proposed development has hit a major setback in Manatee County.
During a county commission meeting last night, planning staff revealed there was an inaccuracy in the report they were given about Longbar Point.
Longbar Point, they made their recommendation of approval thinking only 2 high-rises were being suggested, but developers plan on building more. Kate Flexter sorts this out for us.
The developers say this new plan is more environmentally friendly, but those opposed say they're not convinced. It's the largest remaining stretch of mangrove-lined shore on Sarasota Bay. And for years, this 529-acre property has been the scene of a contentious battle. In 2013, a development proposal called Longbar Point brought hundreds to a commission meeting. Ultimately, the proposal was denied. On Thursday, the crowd was smaller, but still large. Concerned citizens watched from overflow rooms as the developer returned to the commission with a new plan called Aqua by the Bay that calls for 2,900 homes, multiple high-rises, and a nearly 2-mile seawall. The County Planning Commission and staff have recommended approval of the plan, and the developers claim the new plan will have no impact on mangroves and seagrass.
Their plan doesn't call for any impact on the mangroves, and they have no plan to destroy the environment whatsoever.
But those opposed believe there will be an impact.
If anything, I think this proposal is the same or worse than the last time when they were here dressed as Longbar Point.
Vice Chair of the Holmes Beach City Commission, Gene Palin, says their concerns go beyond the environment to the local economy.
This county is sold on tourism as an economic engine. And this is shooting yourself in the foot to allow this kind of development.
Plus, she says they're concerned about the impact of those additional residents.
Tourists are already saying, we're not coming back to Anna Maria Island because the traffic is so bad, and this will add thousands more cars to the road. It's insanity. It's not thinking ahead.
Either way, this will not be the end of the issue. The developers still need state and federal approval before they can move forward. Reporting in Manatee County, Kate Flexter, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
Thank you so much, Kate. The next step for developer Carlos Baruf is to supply additional information on the number of buildings that he plans to build, where he plans to build them, and also their heights. That plan will need to be voted on by the board once again.
And all this week, a few Suncoast kids have been giving homegrown vegetables to others in need. Kindergartners through fourth graders at Hershoren Schiff Community Day School in Sarasota are actually harvesting their own vegetables to help hungry families in the area. The students grow local, seasonal crops and then harvest their hard work every 2 weeks.
Our kids decide what we plant, they decide when it's ready to be harvested, and they decide what we do with it when it's harvested. Usually, we'll snack a little. Our kids run a market garden here locally, but they vote and think it's very important, decide that we should be giving our yield to the food bank.
Half of Sarasota County students are on the free and reduced lunch program during the school year, and once school ends, the summer months can be very challenging for those in need.
One of my favorite stories of the day is this story because they get to decide what they do with the food, and I think it's great that they decided to give it back to others who need it.
It's a great lesson for the kids.
Definitely.
Well, each month a group called Tiger Bay has a hot topic at Michael's on East. Yesterday was all about sports marketing and what it does for our economy, the Orioles, the rowing competition, equine. So we got a shot of your anchor team off campus yesterday having a nice lunch.
It was lovely. We had a great time and learned some valuable information at that event. So I enjoyed learning and hearing from some of the speakers that were talking about the local economy and how those sports events really bring back money into our economy.
Orioles, they said, inject $89 million into our local economy.
Right.
It's only a 4-week season.
Yeah.
That's right.
A lot of people coming from all across the country to watch spring training here.
I also learned something else yesterday. You can eat a cupcake with a fork.
Okay, all right. Really?
All right.
Thank you.
There you go, folks. A new way, John, to enjoy your cupcake with a fork.
I think you should be able to enjoy your cupcake any darn way you want,
Thank you,
so long as you get the cupcake.
Exactly. I was trying to be polite and not stuff my face with a cupcake. What other way were you going to do it?
I'd stuff my face myself. I'm right in there.
I was trying to be polite. Anyway, thank you for calling me out on that one.
It was great. I loved it. Yeah.
Tiger Bay is a wonderful thing.
It really is fun.
We really do cover a variety of topics. Good stuff. We have across our region today some changing weather, big time changing weather. We'll talk about that coming up in a few.
Well, still ahead, from sand sculptures to partying among exotic animals to musicals. Coming up, we'll have details on all that's happening right here on the Suncoast this weekend.
And later in the half hour, President Trump is waking up in Manhattan today for the first time since taking office. The greeting he received upon arrival last night. Coming up.
There's a whole new way to bank with Achieva Checking Plus. You get new features like cell phone protection for 3 phones, plus an interest-bearing account. And that's good to know. Discover all the benefits at AchievaCU.com. Achieva, banking for good. Achieva Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on MySuncoast.com for Chef Judy's favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at MySuncoast.com/dining.
Are you Goodwill?
Yes, because when I donate
or shop at Goodwill,
I am creating a job. I am Goodwill, yeah.
Let me introduce you to the ultimate Florida window. Do you feel safer with this or this? You'll be proud too.
Going on now. For every 2 windows you buy, get 1 more free. Call today.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get debt-free now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-685-6422, 800-685-6422.
There's a whole new way to bank with Achieva Checking Plus. You get new features like full ID theft protection, and that's good to know. Discover all the benefits at achievacu.com. Achieva, banking for good. Achieva Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA.
Now, the official Suncoast weather with ABC 7 meteorologist John Scalzi.
A couple of very dramatic things will happen in the weather today. The first is the winds will be brisk, breezy, and gusty as well. You're going to notice that today. We have several advisories up that are wind-related, inland wind advisories for northern waters, inland waters. We have some small craft advisories. We have some high surf advisories. You'll also notice this value right here, the dew point value, still feels a little muggy out there with a 68-degree dew point. By the time you eat dinner tonight, I bet we can shave off 15, maybe 20 degrees off that dew point value. That's significant. You'll definitely notice a feel to the air. We'll also see a return to sunshine, though right now we got a lot of clouds out there. 73 degrees, our current air temperature is going to stay kind of flat throughout the day today. 72 in Mayaca, Northport at 74, 76 in Venice, 77, Longboat, Bradenton at 75. Got some showers ongoing there, 73, a few spotty showers in Sarasota. And that's pretty much the deal. Drier air filtering in behind the front that's basically on our doorstep right now. That drier air indicated by the tan contour goes way back into the Gulf waters and deep south, and that promises us an extended period of dry air, maybe 7 days in a row or better. So we have this low pressure area continuing to spin around, producing a big rain shield throughout the northeast and the mid-Atlantic. The potential for some severe weather in parts of the Carolinas today and up through the Delmarva. Our severe weather threat is gone now. I mean, our rain chance is almost gone. The heaviest of the rains now pushed southward down toward Fort Myers, with only a smattering of some light to moderate rain falling across our area. No lightning pops with any of these storms, and the heaviest of the stuff, having moved through Bradenton, is on its way toward Palmetto. And it's producing some pretty good rainfall rates, but the city of Bradenton has cleared out just a little bit. Also down to the south, moving between areas of Gulf Gate and Osprey, we have some periods of some moderate rain falling there, gradually drifting toward the interstate at a pretty good clip. Once that's gone, that's it. We'll be looking at some clearing skies. Now watch these wind speeds. These are forecasts for today and tomorrow. The winds are going to be up, and boaters, pay attention to that one because you can get some pretty good gusts out there. 20, 25 knot gusts out there on open water. So it's going to be less than perfect boating weather for a couple of days. I think even Saturday, tomorrow, I think will probably not be the best of boating days. Small craft advisory up through today. Certainly high surf advisory up for our area. Beaches as well, surf running above average. If you're a swimmer, you better be a strong one or pay attention to those lifeguard flags. We have across our region lots of sunshine for the next several days, and look at these temperatures. Nighttime lows in the mid-60s, daytime highs in the 70s. Not too bad. Generally speaking, those places that did get rain got a quarter inch or less. Back to you, Ray.
All right, thank you, John. Jacqueline?
All right, taking a look at traffic this morning. State Road 70 seeing a little increase in traffic as you head westbound. Other than that, there is an accident at US 301 and I-75. Let's hope that clears out as the morning commute gets going this morning. As we head into Sarasota County, pretty quiet, not a whole lot to report throughout that area. No accidents to report, no red or yellow in our viewing area. As we head into South County, pretty quiet as well, just the normal pickup on Business 41 throughout Venice. It's 5:20 this morning, and since it's Friday, it's time to round up your options and make your plans for the weekend.
Linda Carson has our weekly Suncoast scene.
Grab your bucket and your shovel. Saturday is the 45th annual sand sculpting contest on Siesta Key Beach.
It's a free event. It's open to children and adults, all ages, and it's just a whole lot of fun.
It's at the Yellow Lifeguard Stand.
There's 5 categories that the judges will be looking at: adult individual, adult team, youth 10 and under, and then youth 11 to 17. The final one is the overall People's Choice Award.
So if you want to compete, you've got to be here to register by 8:30. The competition starts at 9. You can continue building until 1 p.m. and at 1 o'clock, that's when the judging starts. So beachgoers, if you want to cast your ballot for the people's favorite, be here at 1 o'clock. And celebrate Cinco de Mayo on Friday with a special celebration here at Cafe in the Park in Payne Park. The live music starts at 7:30. Party among the animals Saturday night at Big Cat Habitat's Jungle Jingle. Enjoy food and drink among the animals, then grab a seat for the concert.
Great music, helping great animals. I happen to have connections through my mom's friends with some amazing artists from the West Coast that are going to come out with a kind of a neat variety of different sounds, you know, flamenco guitar, a flutist, a pianist, and then a local amazing rock band.
Now here are the days I remember. Beatsville the Musical. This is a world premiere at the Oslo Theater. It opens this weekend and it runs through May 28th, and it was written by a 3-time Tony nominee. That's Glenn Slater, of course.
Beatsville is set in Greenwich Village in 1959, the beatnik era, the era of turtlenecks and bongos and goatees and berets. Our hero, Walter, is the busboy at the Yellow Door Cafe. Surrounded by artists and poets and writers, he just wants to be as cool as they are, but he doesn't have a shred of cool in his body.
To impress a girl, he tries to make a statue, accidentally kills a cat, and makes it into the sculpture to hide his crime.
Beatniks think that this is the greatest piece of art they've ever seen. Suddenly he has all the acceptance and love that he ever wanted, but now everybody wants to know what his next statue is going to be, and Walter has to start finding bodies.
Cayman Alika is the girl for whom Walter commits these dire acts.
It is wild, it is funny, it is moving, and the score will knock you out of your seat.
Beatnik the Musical at the Oslo Rep. Linda Carson, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
Also this weekend is an opportunity to pamper mom ahead of Mother's Day. The mall at UTC in Sarasota will be doing a one-of-a-kind showcase called All About Mom. There will be fashion shows, a bobble bar, and food sampling. And of course, what's a girl's day without makeover sessions, mini manicures, and massages? All of those activities will be available there. There will also be a chance to win a $5,000 shopping spree. Sounds awesome. The All About Mom event kicks off tomorrow from noon to 6 o'clock. This will be UTC's first year holding that event.
Now, Mother's Day is next weekend, though.
It is, but they're just trying to get them ready for Mother's Day, so make sure they're looking good.
Perfect, good plan.
Well, still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast, a major car retailer has come up with a new concept that could reduce distracted driving.
And at 5:30, the president's health care plan moves on to the Senate now. How will it be received in that chamber? Details coming up.
For more than 100 years, American Humane Association has been teaching kids to be kind to animals. Those in our homes, on the farms, on the silver screen, and wildlife conservation, caring for the world's vanishing creatures. But we can't do it alone. Visit kindness100.org to find ways to teach kids how they can make a more caring, compassionate, and humane world for all of us.
A promise was made, a promise that hit the beaches of Normandy, a vow that captured Iwo Jima, a contract that weathered Tet, a pledge that stormed the desert in Iraq, an IOU that braved IEDs in Kandahar, A promise was made to America's veterans. DAV fights to keep that promise, so all veterans and their families get the benefits and support they earned. For help, visit DAV.org.
What Florida city is best known for spaceflight?
Cape Carnival.
Cape Carnival? Close enough. What condiment includes vinegar, molasses, and anchovies?
Westchester sauce?
Close enough. And now, a word from our sponsors.
One-off from the Florida Lottery. Now available for pick 2, 3, 4, and 5 games. Miss by one on any or all numbers and still win.
Is your old garage door stuck or broken? Would a new one give you a lift? Let Precision Door Overhead Garage Door Service of Sarasota come to the rescue with prompt and affordable repair service. Replacement doors come with an array of styles and colors, and they are rated to meet and exceed Florida standards. From estimates to installation, your satisfaction is our priority. If you're not 100% satisfied with any product, service, or installation, we will make it right, because Precision Door Service is a name you can trust.
Now some rain right now in parts of the area. Should be clearing out for a nice weekend. 526 right now.
Overnight, Microsoft announces a mystery event that's happening later this month.
Details in this morning's Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, the ultimate way to avoid being distracted by your phone while driving. Put it in prison.
It's an idea from Nissan, a special box in the armrest that, when closed, it prevents incoming or outgoing signals, including Bluetooth and Wi-Fi connections. Nissan could put it in cars soon.
Microsoft is taking a cue from Apple, making a cryptic announcement overnight.
It's promising to, quote, show the world what's next at a product unveiling later this month. The speculation is now growing that it's a new tablet.
And no more rolling your eyes when your goofy dad puts a banana to his ear and says hello, because now banana phones are a real thing.
So this is a rechargeable handset that connects to your iPhone or Android. It'll be available in September. The pre-order price is $40.
There might be some doubters about it, but I'd have to say that banana phone has appeal.
Those are your Tech Bites.
Appeal.
Tech Bites. Brought to you by Zales.
What is love? Love is what inspires me. Love is being awakened by a kiss. Love is finding calm in your partner's arms. Love is intimate. Love is everlasting. Love is a diamond. If there's one thing I know, it's couples in love. From the runway to the wedding aisle to the most romantic day of their lives, I'm there. Each piece of my jewelry collection is designed with lovers in mind. The Vera Wang Love Collection at Zales, the diamond store.
Only give me one. Are you serious? Wait.
Hey, Mama, you're gonna be an abuela.
Yeah, this is how she tells me.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com for Chef Judy's favorite recipes, restaurant guide, and more. Go to mysuncoast.com/dining.
This is an important medical announcement. Xarelto and Pradaxa have been linked to uncontrollable bleeding and even death. If you've been prescribed one of these drugs and have experienced these dangerous side effects, you may be entitled to substantial compensation. Studies show that Pradaxa can cause more heart attacks than warfarin, and other countries have already issued safety warnings against this drug. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. The call is confidential, there's no cost, and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to Pradaxa victims, and thousands of Xarelto victims are filing their legal cases. Call the Drug Watch hotline if you or a loved one used Xarelto or Pradaxa and experienced uncontrollable bleeding, brain hemorrhage, or even death. You must call now.
Call 800-793-6055. 800-793-6055.
Let me introduce you to the ultimate Florida window. you feel safer with this or this? You'll be proud too.
Going on now. For every 2 windows you buy, get 1 more free. Call today.
During the past 10 years, Tidewell Hospice volunteers have provided more than 1 million hours of service. They sit with patients, giving caregivers a break. They work in offices. They take their furry friends on pet therapy visits. They even clown around. Every task performed by a volunteer makes a difference in the lives of our patients and their families. Join Tidewell's volunteer team. They're truly 1 in a million. Tidewell Hospice. It's more than you think.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. Our promise means a new car you'll love. If not, return it for one you do. At Sarasota Ford, we promise live market pricing. We monitor national pricing on our entire inventory, so you get the best deal. In fact, we guarantee it. Bring us any competitor's ad, and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
There's a whole new way to bank at Achieva Credit Union with Achieva Checking Plus. Get new unique features like full ID theft protection and online shopping rewards. Plus, it's an interest-bearing account, so you have a little extra for what really matters. Achieva Checking Plus isn't just an account for your money, it's for your life, including cell phone insurance. And that's good to know. Discover the plus at achievacu.com. Achieva, banking for good. Achieva Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA.
Coming up on Good Morning Suncoast, the passing of President Trump's health care bill to repeal and replace Obamacare, bringing mixed reactions. What the new bill means for your own health benefits.
New developments involving the prison death of ex-Patriot player Aaron Hernandez, what was found on the wall of his cell.
And today is the deadline for Florida to finalize a budget for the state. Will they meet it? That's next on Good Morning Suncoast.
Live from the ABC 7 studios, this is Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
And good morning, pleasant shot there from the Rosemary District here just east of downtown Sarasota. Some of you are seeing some rain this morning as showers move through the area. Details coming up. Happy Cinco de Mayo. I'm Ray Collins.
And I'm Jacqueline Matter. Certainly some of that rain obviously much needed, but for me, I had just gotten a car wash and the pollen was starting to accumulate, and now it's gone because of the rain, even though it was just a little bit.
You have to listen closer to John Scalzi's forecast. I was out last night playing tennis, and sure enough, it got cloudy, and then it began to rain just as John predicted.
Yep.
Well, I'm glad Jacqueline washed her car because that assured that we would get some rainfall, right? Isn't that how it works?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're in the last gasps of the last remaining little bits of rainfall. You know, I wish that more people had gotten heavier amounts of rainfall. I wish we had seen 1.5, 2-inch rainfalls, but no, and maybe a 1/4 inch in some locations. As far as the satellite view goes, rapid clearing will take place once this front that is over us moves through. Already, parts of North Florida seeing clear skies. Yes, we have some showers in progress. It's kind of the last gasp. We'll detail how heavy they are, where they are, and what to expect, but I can tell you this much. They don't have any lightning associated with them. That's the good news. Complete forecast details about what could be the nicest Saturday we see until summer is over. Coming up in just a few.
Quite a promise. Thank you, John. We'll talk to you soon. A couple problems already this morning in Manatee County. First off, you'll see there in the top right corner, US 301, an accident at I-75. Also, look at the Green Bridge. That's the western of the two bridges from Palmetto into Bradenton. The other one's called the DeSoto Bridge. The Green Bridge is packed already at 5:34 in the morning. Also, 70 is showing slowdowns in both directions on State Road 70. Farther south now into Sarasota County. Bee Ridge slowed toward 41, but also look at Clark Road heading toward the interstate. Red already this morning. And then farther south into Sarasota County, we'll see nothing much to speak of at 5:34 on your Friday morning. President Trump is claiming victory after his long-promised health care bill passed the House.
But what does that reform mean for you at home? Well, for instance, if you're older, you could end up paying 3 times the premium that a younger person with an identical plan is paying. And some people who are currently on Medicaid won't qualify anymore as the plan raises Medicaid eligibility. States would determine whether or not to continue with the rules protecting those with pre-existing conditions. That bill allocates $8 billion over 5 years to go to states that apply for the waiver to help cover the costs of people with pre-existing conditions.
They're still able to get the federal funding, but they're also saying, you know what, if we want to do it our own way, we can file a waiver, and let's say we don't want to deal with it the way the federal government is telling us to do it. Maybe we want to deal with pre-existing conditions in another manner, and that's what this amendment, the MacArthur Amendment, is allowing the states to do.
Other changes that would come with this healthcare reform amendment is that you would no longer be required to have insurance or face a penalty if you do not. Insurance companies must now offer maternal care, prescription coverage, and mental health care as part of their plans.
But not everyone is pleased about this new healthcare reform possibility. Hundreds of protesters gathered in Manhattan during President Trump's first return to New York since being sworn into office. While some did welcome him, others held protests near his home at Trump Tower and near the USS Intrepid, where he attended an event.
We are horrified by his policies. We are horrified that today he celebrated the effort to take health care away from millions of people.
It was going to make a difference in 2018 when we'll rise up and the Democrats will take back control of the House and Senate.
The president held a press conference with Australia's Prime Minister. He praised Australia's universal health care system, saying the country has better health care than we do.
We're learning new details this morning about the past of a white Texas police officer who fatally shot a black teenager in Texas.
It turns out there's been complaints about him before. Former officer Roy Oliver had previously even faced a conduct complaint from the Dallas County District Attorney's Office. The complaint was about his conduct toward people in the office and in court. One instance points out a time when he was aggressive and used vulgar language. He was suspended for 16 hours in that incident. That was 4 years ago. Oliver is now being investigated for shooting and killing 15-year-old Jordan Edwards last weekend. Edwards was in a car that was fleeing a party. He has been fired from the department.
Trayvon Martin is receiving a college degree. Florida Memorial University will award the slain teen a posthumous bachelor's degree in aeronautical science. His parents will accept the degree on his behalf at the school's commencement on May 13th. His mother is an alum of the school. Martin was killed 5 years ago by George Zimmerman at the age of 17. Zimmerman was acquitted of second-degree murder in that case.
New information now on the prison death of ex-NFL star Aaron Hernandez. An investigative report shows that the former Patriot player wrote a reference to a Bible passage both on his forehead and in blood on the wall of his prison cell. The passage was John 3:16. Hernandez was serving a life sentence in the 2013 murder of football player Odin Lloyd. He was found hanging from a bedsheet in his cell last month in Massachusetts. New developments at the site of the worst mass shooting in modern U.S. history.
The owner of Pulse nightclub in Orlando has plans to build a permanent memorial at that site. Jason Kelly has details.
And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day.
From the street, you could hear songs lifting up Pulse's Fallen.
It's sad to see something like this, every day in our life.
And out front,
It's something that should be taken seriously.
people like Carrie and Mary stopped, wondering why there were signs of life behind this fence.
We all grew up together. We've laughed, we've cried, we've shared our stories, our heartbreaks with each other over the years. And
Inside and on screen, survivors of that deadly attack shared their stories.
This is an important day for all of us. We have come so far in these 11 months.
Pulse's owner laid out a plan. She doesn't know what the memorial will look like yet, but it will start with the celebrities and business leaders on the One Pulse Foundation, which is collecting the money to build and maintain that memorial.
It's not my decision. It's not just my feeling. It'll come from everyone's input.
She's already reaching out to survivors and victims' families to find out what they think a memorial should be. First responders who were there that night will have a say in the design, too. It could include a museum to teach people years from now what happened that night in June. 11 months later, people visiting agreed the power behind Pulse now is the power to unite people instead of tearing them apart.
We need that comfort. We need that sense of community. So now I just made a friend.
Yeah, we did. Carrie and Mary.
Carrie and Mary.
Barbara Poma opened up Pulse back in 2004 as a way to honor her brother who had passed away from AIDS.
Time is winding down for Florida lawmakers to get the state's finances in order. Legislative leaders have until today to finalize a budget, and if it's not approved, the session could possibly extend to Monday. But top Republican legislative leaders say they have reached a deal on a new $83 billion budget. Florida law requires that the budget be completely finished 72 hours before a final vote can be taken.
Governor Scott was on the Suncoast Thursday talking about frustrations over the latest budget. The governor is touring Florida, urging people to contact members of the legislature and tell them to set aside money for tourism and the economy. His statewide tour of 10 cities included a stop in Sarasota yesterday. Scott has called on lawmakers to set aside $100 million for tourism marketing. He also wanted money for the state's Economic Development Agency to use as incentives to lure businesses here.
We funded Visit Florida. We've gone from about 80 million tourists to last year we had almost 113 million tourists. We got to fund Visit Florida. We need $100 million in this budget. So I'm traveling the state saying, call your legislators. Let them know we need to get this money in the budget.
Might be too late for this year's budget. Yesterday was day 2 of Scott's 3-day tour across Florida. Well, some bizarre consumer news this morning. A cafe in Brooklyn is accusing Starbucks of stealing its drink.
That's right. The owners have filed a lawsuit against the company over its ever so famous unicorn latte. The cafe is accusing Starbucks of stealing a drink that they originally created and then overshadowing its health benefits with the sugary frappuccino. Both drinks are indeed similar in that neither contain coffee, but the cafe's version of the unicorn drink is made from ingredients such as dates, ginger root, and algae. Starbucks drink, very different, made from milk and artificial sweeteners. The cafe is seeking compensation and a public apology from the company.
From too much sugar now to too much alcohol, a recall alert for you this morning. Bombay Sapphire Gin is being recalled for having too much liquor. The 1.1 liter bottles usually have 40% alcohol, but the tainted bottles have double that, at least 77%. So far, no one has gotten sick or hungover. Up to 6,000 Bombay Sapphire bottles have been affected, but they were only sold in Canada.
Well, Anheuser-Busch has a new partner. The brewing giant is teaming up with North Carolina's Wicked Weed Brewing. The company hopes that the move will give their team a diversified portfolio and more ways to service craft beer drinkers. Anheuser-Busch's partnership with Wicked Weed requires regulatory approval, but details of their agreement have not yet been disclosed.
All these alcohol stories are pure coincidence with Cinco de Mayo, John.
Of course they are. Yes, absolutely. Speaking of Cinco de Mayo, we've got Music on Main tonight. That should be kind of fun.
Yeah.
The weather will be outstanding.
Good.
Lovely.
Yeah, I think, in fact, all weekend long we are looking at humidity values and temperatures that could possibly not be equaled again until the end of summer. So it's nice. Yeah, to take advantage of this weekend. Looking at a few scattered showers ending. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Coming up, hundreds of people on the Suncoast are living with HIV, but there's a new preventative method that could possibly protect you from the virus. We'll have those details next in our Health Smart.
If you've ever had a bad night's sleep, call and price the new Craftmatic Legacy. It has so much more than other adjustables and still costs up to 50% less. Featuring a rising adjustable pillow rest to support your head, neck, and shoulders, bedside power plugs, under-bed night lights, and more. So call and price one today for less, up to 50% less than Tempur-Pedic, Sleep Number, and other adjustables.
You get so much more and it still costs less. You've got to see how little they cost.
Call 1-800-774-8103. That's 1-800-774-8103. Call now.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
What to do when your heating or air conditioning needs service or, heaven forbid, replacement? Call Air Now today. We've been serving Sarasota and Manatee County since 1946. We offer $49.95 tune-ups, lease or finance options, and remember, service today or it's free.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help with Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sunny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
Is your old garage door stuck or broken? Would a new one give you a lift? Let Precision Door Overhead Garage Door Service of Sarasota come to the rescue with prompt and affordable repair service. Replacement doors come with an array of styles and colors, and they are rated to meet and exceed Florida standards. From estimates to installation, your satisfaction is our priority. If you're not 100% satisfied with any product, service, or installation, we will make it right, because Precision Door Service is a name you can trust.
Now, the official Suncoast weather with ABC7 meteorologist John Scalzi.
We're looking at temperatures outside that are still kind of on the warm side in the 70, 72 degrees. We do have some showers in progress right now across the area, here and there, dotting the landscape, but they're winding down after this morning's periods of heavier rainfall in some locations, few locations. Manatee County got some good rain. 68 degrees, the dew point value, that will plummet as we head into the afternoon. Thank you to that west-northwest wind. As it turns a little bit more to the northwest, we'll start to see that drier air just funnel down into our area, riding on a brisk 16-mile to 20-mile-an-hour wind. We'll have a dew point value by the time you go home from work this evening or eat dinner this evening. That'll probably be 15, maybe even 20 degrees lower than it is right now. Significant dew point drops, low 50s, maybe some upper 40s. That's pretty nice. 74 degrees in Parrish, Bradenton, 75 Lakewood Ranch, Sarasota's at 72, 78 in Venice and Inglewood, 77 degrees in Northport, and Punta Gorda comes in at 77, Longboat at 76. An area of low pressure continues to spin around in parts of the deep south, lifting off to the north and to the east, providing a rain shield that encompasses most of the northeast and the mid-Atlantic. Some of it could be some fairly heavy rainfall, as you see, moving through the Virginias and the Carolinas right now. That has the potential for perhaps some severe weather, a small potential, kind of like we had yesterday. Looking at maybe gusty winds and maybe some small hail, mostly. So if you're traveling to any of those airports from the Del Marva, really all the way down toward the Carolinas, could be some airport delays. Atlanta looks okay, though. A frontal boundary extends basically right over us now, producing some scattered rain showers, with the heaviest of the stuff now pushed south. But we still have some pockets of heavier rain around the area, that most notably leaving Verna, moving toward Myakka Head, Myakka City, and then down to the south around Myakka State Park. Plus, out in Gulf waters, we still have a few showers moving onshore now, Lido Key up through lower Longboat, moving toward Sarasota. So those are the showers that we have left. After we get rid of those, we'll see some fairly rapid clearing as that frontal boundary pushes southward. High pressure will build in. Winds will be brisk out of the north and northwest, and that does mean some problems for boaters. Morning clouds, yeah, a few. Maybe an isolated sprinkle, brief sprinkle into some of those clouds, but basically our rain chances diminishing to near zero this morning. And then breezy winds. Gusty winds. And that'll be with us today and tomorrow, and the temperatures will be dropping, the humidity will be slashed, and we'll look for sunshine by afternoon. Front moves through pretty quickly with the last remaining showers. The futurecast rainfall forecast doesn't have much work to do. Maybe a few scattered sprinkles during the morning hour. Then blue sky. Blue sky, sunshine, rain-free conditions right straight through the weekend. As I mentioned, the weekend looks like it might be one of the nicest weekends that we have coming. Look for daytime highs in the mid-70s, nighttime low in the 60s with low relative humidity. Back to you.
All right, thank you so much, John. Taking a look at Suncoast traffic on your Friday morning. Looks like State Road 70 and 301 really seeing the most congestion. There was an accident at 301 and I-75, but that has since cleared up in Manatee County. Other than that, looking good as we head into Sarasota County. Pretty quiet throughout that area. The only congestion really on Fruitville Road in both directions as we head into South County. Pretty quiet throughout that region. Not a whole lot going on your Friday morning commute at 5:49. In our health news this morning, a Sarasota County organization is promoting a medication that can help prevent people from contracting HIV.
Yeah, it's called PrEP. The Community AIDS Network calls it a game changer in reducing the risk of getting HIV. The pill is taken once a day, and if it's taken in conjunction with condoms, it'll be 99% effective in protecting you against HIV.
Most insurance companies are covering it, and those that don't have insurance, we have programs out there that are covering it. It's virtually free.
PrEP is also used in treating HIV as well.
Well, can racism affect your health for the worse? A doctor at the University of California thinks so. A recent study revealed that kids who experience racism have weight and asthma problems. The study consisted of a survey of about 100,000 children, both black and white. They found that exposure to racism raises your chances of having ADHD and also increases your child's odds of having anxiety and depression. Most of these health effects were found in black and Hispanic children from low-income backgrounds. Well, it's pretty nasty to think about, but 9 times out of 10, you're probably swimming in a pool that someone has peed in. I'm sorry, we have to tell you.
Why would you say that? Chemists at the University of Alberta are studying the effects of urine in the pool. According to the CDC, 1 in 10 pools don't have proper chlorine levels to meet disinfectant standards. So before taking a dip, researchers suggest going to buy some test strips and check the chlorine level before you get in the pool.
Make sure to carry them around in your purse or in your little coat pocket, or I guess if you're
imagine
going
that on a hot summery day before you get in? I gotta check the pool first.
Hold on, friends, before I jump in.
Yeah, no, that's their idea anyway.
Okay, well, coming up, Darth Vader takes on a whole new career. Not quite what you think, though.
We'll have that story and the forecast after this.
Let me introduce you to the ultimate Florida window. Do you feel safer with this or this? You'll be proud too.
Going on now. For every 2 windows you buy, get 1 more free. Call today.
Are you Goodwill?
Yes, because when I donate or shop at Goodwill,
I am creating a job.
I am Goodwill, yeah.
I was always worried and scared. Mom was in pain. She wasn't going to get any better, and all the trips to the ER were painful for all of us. Then we called Tidewell Hospice, and everything changed. Now she has care in our home when she needs it, surrounded by family. We know we don't have much time left with Mom, but we decided to make the best out of that time. Tidewell Hospice, it's more than you think.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get Debt-Free Now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make 1 monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-628-1251, 800-628-1251.
Alec Baldwin's received a lot of attention due to his imitation of President Trump on SNL.
It appears Trump had the chance to go face-to-face with Baldwin, but decided not to. Baldwin claims that Trump was invited to appear on SNL back in February when Baldwin was the guest host. The actor says the show was so hopeful that Trump would accept the invite, but he didn't. Trump wrote on Twitter last year that Baldwin's portrayal of him stinks.
Kim Kardashian West expanding her empire with a new beauty-based reality show. The reality star says she'll be the executive producer of a new Lifetime network show called Glam Masters. Contestants will compete for the title of Beauty Director for Kardashian Apps. It's unclear when the show will air, but contestants can now apply on Lifetime's website. More Kim Kardashian.
Who would have thought?
Yes.
Well, not many people can say that Darth Vader worked on them at the hospital.
But folks in Tennessee can. In fact, a surgical technician at a Memphis hospital is named Darth Vader Williamson. He's not a Star Wars fan, but his parents are, and they gave him the name.
The name is famous within itself. I'm just a carrier of the name. But, you know, people want to associate a face with it other than the character Darth Vader, so that's me.
Darth usually works with robots and technology who don't pick on him. By the way, yesterday was May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. I had a little list. I wouldn't use his middle name if I was him.
Can you imagine how many times he's probably gone to like the DMV or the hospital?
Oh, yeah.
Hello, I'm Darth Vader.
Yeah, I would just say I'm Darth Williams.
Right.
No connection whatsoever.
That's kind of funny.
He better be a Star Wars fan with that name, I guess, but he's not.
His parents are.
All right, John says it's a great weekend forecast. His details, update local traffic and the news after this.